I'll be like, I can't hear me anyway.
I've got Jesse Paul here in the studio.
Good morning, everybody.
Interesting time. So this is actually kind of fun because today is the first day, the first of many, that we'll be broadcasting this show live from the Larkin Group Facebook page rather than the Jeremy Larkin Facebook page. I don't know. We did it. Yeah. Well, we always broadcast from a page because that's where we had the kind of the concentration of friends and clients.
It seemed to get more traction there, but
yeah,
I like what we're doing now because it really takes it to a business platform.
Yeah. And so this
means we're getting serious.
Yeah. This is where we're at. Right. And I just actually shared an image for our friends on Facebook. Check us out, guys. Go to facebook.com/the Larkin Group or facebook.com/St. George Experts. Actually, I should say facebook.com/St. George Experts. Let's test it. Should we see if both work, Jesse?
Yep.
Guys, we are a real estate program, and we're going to talk today about the new Sun Bowl, the new Dixie Lions Sun Bowl, the proposed plan that they're talking about downtown, which would be so awesome. Regardless of whatever the plan is, we're going to share an image with you live on Facebook. And
it's not funny that it makes me sad because I always think of Joe Bocut.
Yeah, so tell me about it.
Well, because he had a lot to do with the creation of the Sun Bowl, and before he passed away, was there every year. Any event there, he was there. So the fact that they're going to make a new one, it just makes me feel like that's going to go away. That nostalgia for me.
Well, yeah, and here's the issue: it can't stay the way it is.
Yeah, I know.
It's completely. The place is a wreck. The place is a wreck. I have been going there since I was a child, since I was literally born. Right. I have absolutely used the former. I think they're gone now. The trough urinals, right? Do you know what I'm talking about, Andy? Oh, yeah. Like everybody just lines up on a trough. Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting model, right? I mean, it's a very community-based urination situation. Do you know what I'm talking about? Right? Is that good way to talk about?
That is
good.
Yeah,
just don't cross streams.
Yeah. So don't cross streams. My brother and I love to talk about when you go to the roundup you go to the rodeo in September.
Oh man,
it's still this way. And all of the soda, they have all the soda out for you, and it's out and it's filled to the very tippy top of the cup with hardly any ice and no lid. And you're like trying to walk it back to your seat. I never could figure that out. And then the hot dogs, they typically only offer mustard, and then you're gonna have to go put the ketchup on yourself. There is there's a lot there. So that's interesting. So my earliest memory, literally, I actually played football and soccer in there as well.
I think that's the difference, right? My only memory there was Joe.
Yep.
The rodeo and then being around Guild Mortgage and them telling the stories around how much impact he had around things like that, around the Sun Bowl and just around town. So that you have a lot deeper memories of that than I do.
Yeah.
The only experience I have is some concerts and Joe. So
yeah, Joe Bocut, such a great guy, which is so perfect because when Joe passed, he was actually aligned with and working for our friends at Guild Mortgage. Guild Mortgage is actually one of our great show sponsors. Our show today brought to you by our friends at Guild Mortgage, Chantry Abbott. They run a beautiful operation with mortgage interest rates popping over 7% again.
Yep, they are.
We definitely want you to reach out to Chantry Abbott and Guild Mortgage. They've worked with hundreds of our clients over time.
Yeah. Somebody, I was sitting in our conference room the other day, and I mentioned Guild, and the lady said, "Well, do you just use them because they're so convenient right there?" I said, "Oh no. I use them because I always know they'll do what's right for me first."
Correct.
Every time they will think about what's best for me first.
I'm telling you, and I'm telling you. It's this is the thing that's hard for folks to understand who are outside of our business, right? what you learn really quickly as a realtor, as people like to say, or as a realtor, what you learn is that you find out who will close the transactions and make your client's life easy, and you find out who won't in the lending world.
Yep.
And you just learn. And we learned a long time ago. I started working with Chantry in 2010, maybe.
Wow,
and that was a long time ago. So I look, what the client, this is such a stressful process. And they've already got to pour over a minimum of 7. Well, it's not minimum 7. It's a 6-page real estate purchase contract in the state of Utah, plus addendums, plus all the other disclosures. They're looking at 30 pages of contract paperwork just on the real estate side. Then to apply for a loan, right? They're like, hey, when you were in 7th grade, you had some money that you hid somewhere, and we need you to just verify and have someone sign off that money still exists, as well as your tax returns for the last 7 years. It's a lot.
Yeah, there is.
And so it's so critical that folks work with someone they can trust. Guild Mortgage on our show is actually also brought to you by our friends at Sunwood Homes. Oh my goodness. So they're beautiful. The brand new phase of Desert Flower Phase 2. We're going to do something cool out there. We have 8 units. They're going to be alternating. These are 4-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom, 2,400 square feet. I get the square footage wrong this morning, which is terrible. 4-bed, 2.5 baths, 3-car garage for some of them. And the others will be 4-bed, 2.5 bath, 2-car garage, but an attached rentable, what they call an ADU, an accessory dwelling unit that you can rent. How cool is that? So we're actually going to alternate.
Which is a big deal. So if you actually have a full accessory dwelling unit, which means it's got a sink,
it's an accessory dwelling
stove.
Unit. Yeah, it's not if it's full. An accessory dwelling unit is an accessory dwelling unit. There is no if. Does this make sense?
But this is what it has, and it has to have to be able to. Right. So if you have that,
I see where you're going.
If you have that, you can, and let's say you can rent it for $1,000 a month. You can actually use $750 to qualify for your mortgage as income, even though it's not yours and it's not rented yet. It could be a good way for a buyer to qualify. Maybe they can't find something at $500 or $550, but at $625, they found this one with an ADU is what it's called.
Yes.
They can actually buy that, qualifying with that potential rent.
Yep. Yes.
That's a big deal that changed, I guess, I think a couple of years ago, or maybe a year ago. It didn't used to be like that.
I'll tell you what.
So
you bring in on that note, you'd bring in $1,000 to $1,200 a month minimum on an ADU. Mm-hmm. So again, guys, there'll be 2 options. Prices will be different because it'll cost more to have the ADU.
Yeah.
But I want you to visit mysunwoodhomes.com and say, hey, we want more information on Desert Flower Phase 2. You like that?
I do. And for people with homes out there, for sellers out there, if you have one and you're thinking about selling it, make sure it's marketed that way.
Yep.
Like there is a lot of potential with a property like that.
It's incredible. And here's what's funny. Let me tell you a little research project we did. And I'm going to do it publicly as well. So we ran a research project within our team and we said, would you rather pay, for instance, these are generic numbers. We don't know if these will be the numbers. Would you rather pay $650 for a 3-car garage version of the home or $700 for a 2-car version, but you had a rentable unit? Now, I don't have a mortgage person on here to validate these numbers, and that's okay. I'll tell you without even doing the math, from a financial perspective, you come out way money ahead with the rentable unit, meaning meaning offsetting your mortgage. But we ran the research project inside our team. 64% said I would choose the accessory dwelling unit, and 36% decided to do the math because it was 69%, and then one more person voted, and it changed the numbers. 64% said I'd take the ADU and pay more, $50,000 more. Mm-hmm. $50,000 more on my sales price to have, a rentable unit.
Okay.
36% said, no way, I don't like other people living connected to my house.
Yeah.
And I was in that group. Now it's interesting.
In that group.
Yeah. I actually have a casita, a full legal.
That you ran.
At my home. But at the same time, it's detached by a breezeway. Mm-hmm. It's not connected to my house. it's not connected. So there's a lot of privacy there.
Okay,
right?
when you say it's attached, but it's a full ADU, it's got an exterior
correct,
entrance.
but it's absolutely attached to the home.
So you could fully block it off from your house, even if it's attached.
It is blocked off. Yeah.
So it's interesting to me that there's a difference in the perception, whether it's detached or attached.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some sort of.
Did I catch that?
Yeah. Yeah. There's some sort of privacy when you.
Even though you have the privacy being detached, yes,
Yeah.
you have more, but
absolutely.
there's a perception that if it's attached, that it's just not.
Well, and a lot of people just don't want somebody coming and going from their property.
Yeah.
By the way,
I get that.
Now that I had to fiddle around with a few links to make sure that this would do the thing that I needed it to correctly this morning because my laptop was being funky. You're looking at we got some footage here of the Lions Roundup. It's so listen, look, you see that scene right there? When they come in and typically they'll have somebody, they'll have some guys parachute in, right? And they bring the flag and then the military come out and the law enforcement come out. And then of course they play this incredible medley of patriotic. I'm going to play this one more time so you can see the beginning of this model. So funny. They put this, a guy at the city literally over the weekend just made this model. I was actually talking to Danielle Larkin about it. Because people are like, this isn't very professional. What they didn't understand.
It's a weekend project.
A city employee is like, I think I'm just going to model it and show them. He put sugar cubes and a plastic toy horse in the middle. It's just cool. Just to look at. So this is
the proposed, right?
Proposed symbol. They actually consulted with the NFR, National Finals Rodeo, to understand how would this work best.
How should
and see, they've turned it. They've turned the rodeo grounds to be going. See, this is north and south. You see Flood Street on the right?
Yep.
So
that's really cool.
We'll see what happens.
What's cool about that is it may not be professional, but it's actually pretty good for a weekend project.
Kind of fun to see. I want to shift gears. All right, let's shift gears. Some of you got a tax refund, and a whole bunch of us definitely did not get a tax refund. Jeremy Larkin here, by the way, with the St. George Real Estate Morning Drive with the Larkin Group, Keller Williams Realty. I've got my business partner here. What's your name?
Jesse Paul.
That's right. Poll. We always make sure everyone knows this. We talked about it last week. Jesse, so for those who did get a tax refund, the refunds can get just gobbled up so quickly into nothing.
Oh, they can be gone.
Like,
so
cool,
fast.
we're going to go to Disneyland. You know what you could do? You could use it for a down payment on a home. You could use it to pay for your closing costs on the purchase of a home, or you could use it. This is kind of the same difference. The same thing said differently. You could use it to lower your mortgage rate, right? Not on an existing residence,
no,
but on a home that you're purchasing, right? Yep. Which is, it's a version of closing costs. The average refund size is up by 6.1% from $2,903 last year to $3,081 for this season through March 22nd. Okay. And so, if you're out there and you are expecting a tax refund, you might think, what would be really awesome is to own a home and to not have to fiddle around with my landlord anymore, which is going to segue us perfectly into really helping home sellers understand the mindset, the correct mindset.
Yeah, this is...
I'm going to ask a question. All right. When you go to sell your home, all right, we can tell you, Jesse, what's our median home price in St. George right now? You're always looking at it.
About 500.
Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's 500? Okay. The reason I question him is I want to know if that's true.
Let me pull it up. I've got it.
Okay. So most of us that own homes, I think it's higher right now, by the way.
You're probably right. I'm pulling it up right now.
And this guy, what's funny is he's a data junkie.
Yeah, but
he fell asleep at the wheel right there. It's cool.
Well, I don't try to remember it from week to week. Because it changes. Well, no, I'm not worried about you week to week. I'm talking year to date. I know, but
I'm talking year to date.
Even though I read it all the time, I look at it every time.
If you look at, he's going to give us the data.
Yeah, just so I'm correct. I don't want to.
This guy is on point. If you, let me back up. Okay, if you just picked up our show, St. George Real Estate Morning Drive, somewhere in southern Utah, you're listening. We help folks manage their wealth in real estate. Okay. So if we help folks manage their wealth in real estate, what we want you to do is acquire wealth through real estate, right? So what I'm going to share with you, I really want to flip the way that a lot of sellers think about preparing their home for sale. I want to flip it on its head.
You want to see how close I was?
How
507.
Oh, good. I thought it was like 510. So that was pretty. So there you go. So not too bad. But well done. So we'll give it to him. Should we give it to him? Okay, we'll give it to him. The reason I want to be accurate is because we're going to use the number for our purposes. Okay. $507,000 is the median home price in St. George. The average is significantly
$651,000.
The average home price is $651,000. Now I'm going to ask some people a question. I'm going to ask Jesse this question. I'm going to ask Andy this question just for fun. Either one of you guys. Andy, if you went out to dinner tonight, I'm going to call it a nice restaurant. I want to go beyond Chipotle. Okay.
Let's say
now you may not go out a lot, but just for fun, what do you anticipate? No drinks, because I don't think Andy enjoys drinks. So no drinks. Diet Coke. Okay. If you and your spouse go out to dinner, what do you think you'll spend with a server?
Nice dinner. Gonna run $100.
$100. Yeah. He is 100% accurate. Okay. Andy, have you ever gone to Costco before?
Yeah, to go buy my $200 gallon of milk.
Bingo. Yeah. Okay. You actually nailed it. Is it normal to come out of Costco at $300 to $500, maybe even $1,000 if you made a big haul?
Yep.
Never done that 1,000, but yes, $200 to $300 every time.
Every time. We had a client recently, and we have clients that do this, that will balk over spending an extra $300 to get their home ready. They're $500,000
Here's what's interesting, right? They'll say, "Do we have to? Can we get away with?" And so this actually came up because I had this scenario.
Yeah,
like literally.
Great people.
Back-to-back conversations.
And I'm going to tell you, by the way, how I think about selling a home that I'm about to sell downtown St. George, 2 blocks away from this home.
So I had a conversation and I said, we could do this or this. I think we should do this because it's gonna complete it. Yeah, but couldn't we get away with this? The difference was $300.
$300, $500.
And he...
Call our median home price here in town, $507.
And
average
even
home
though
price, $650.
I went back twice reiterating what I really think this is important, he landed on the lower number. Then within 15 minutes, Jeremy and I are having a conversation about a property that he's getting ready to sell.
I'm going to sell one of the homes. I own a couple of properties downtown. I decided to sell my former residence, right?
Yep.
2 blocks away. It's near Town Square.
And we're talking through it, and he's talking about some things some possibilities.
I'm prepping the home. I had a tenant in the home for 11 months. They moved out. They actually weren't really hard on the home at all. The home looks pretty similar to what it did. Should we walk through this really quick?
Yeah, let's walk through the conversation we had.
Okay, I'm going to sell this home. It was a rental for 11 months. It was built in 1966. I had a massive renovation planned when I was going to stay there.
Yep.
Instead, I purchased another home, a larger home, which was an old home, 1960. Moved north of Boulevard, still in the cool historic area, and I kept this as a rental. Let me tell you where I started before we even got this conversation. Here's what I'm already doing. I'm already doing $1,500 worth of paint inside. Mm-hmm. Probably Andy's giving us 5 minutes. I have to get the cabinet guys the countertop people over there because I'm going to replace the owner's suite, is what we call it now. Countertops, all of the hardware in the bathroom, the entire mirror. I'm going to replace 7 light fixtures because they were all dated. 7 light fixtures in the house.
Okay.
No one told me to do this. We're not even to the big one yet that Jesse's talking about. Why would I do any of this?
Well, number one, they're dated. Number two, what are buyers looking for right now? I think that's the biggest one.
I want you to come back. I'm going to guide to this guy. What is the only reason I would do all this?
Because it needs to be done.
What is the only reason I would do all this?
No, you tell me. I don't know what
you want to sell your house.
What is the only reason, Andy, I would spend all this money?
Actually, because you want to get the most money.
It took you a while, young man, to get there.
It usually does.
It's interesting because he actually coaches sellers on this all day long, but he's feeling the pressure of the radio mic. I'm going to ask the question, and then I'm going to have him repeat it again because he was a little sheepish. What is the only reason, Jesse, I would spend the money?
To get more money. But the question I'm answering is to get more buyers looking at it.
Correct.
Which leads to more money.
Correct. Here's why we have to go there. Realtors over talk.
They do.
We don't need all these extra words.
I do.
No, we all do. We don't need these extra words. I asked Jesse a question. I said, I'm thinking I might do what, Jesse? What was the conversation about?
So he's got two different kinds of bricks on the front of his house.
Well, the front,
front and side. Front and side.
Yeah, the side you would never notice, but there's two.
But there's two, and he said I can either leave it the same because one is really retro. It's really cool. It's awesome. Or I can paint it all and really make it all pop, all one color.
Guess what the price tag is to paint the brick on the house? $4,000.
$4,000. So we're talking about $4,000. But here's what caught me.
Hey, Andy, these realtors, they just all want to take our commissions. They just all want. I'm a realtor. I'm probably most certainly the most well-known realtor, but probably not the most successful or best one in St. George. But in terms of radio, probably the most well-known real estate personality in St. George. Guys, I'm about to drop $10,000 on a home. Jesse, pause. If I don't spend any of this and I just price the home correctly, could I sell the home in 24 hours? Yes or no?
Yes.
72 hours? Yes or no?
Yes.
But I want the most money, and here's what I also want. I also want to leave it so the neighborhood just looks radical.
Here's the most important question you asked me, though.
And I'm a realtor.
You said, before I even said anything, what would actually make buyers want this house? You didn't say, do I have to?
Not even a question.
How much? How much? Because I asked you, how much is it? $4,000. I said, okay.
Now, this is beautiful. Let me insert something in our last minute and 45 seconds. Well, it's easy for him to say he has the money. Jesse knows that our business fluctuates.
Yeah.
I actually don't just have 10 grand laying around to throw at a house.
Yeah,
I have to make some really, really hard decisions because that money can be used in my business elsewhere. Guys, please do not, for our listeners, if you're a seller, please do not hop on that train with your mindset. I assure you that's not the case.
I know it's not easy right now for you to do
because we have a lot of moving parts in our business and we have a large team and we're really trying to invest back into our people.
Yep.
Literally back into our people so we can serve them, serve the client, right? Guys, when you get ready to sell a home, you should ask your realtor only one question. Now that I put Jesse on the hot seat, you should ask them, how can I get what, Jesse?
The most money.
The end. It's the only question. And then, by the way, you're going to make budgetary answers.
Right.
Because
some of it you just can't do.
Yeah, because if you're like, well, I don't have 10 grand to do the thing or 5 grand or 2 grand, then the realtor, if they have a brain and they're really good at what they do, they're going to say, cool, Jesse, let's do X but not Y, A but not B, C but not D. If you want the most money for your home,
biggest bang.
You need to be thinking offensively to get the most money this market.
Right. The wrong question is, do I have to? The right question is, what would get the buyers so excited that they'll pay me more money for this house?
And that's what he said to me the other day. That's why I went to Jesse. I gave him a hard time on the radio. I went to him for guidance.
Yeah, I'm not good on the ground, but I'm good at what I do.
Yeah, I was like, I need your help. Jesse, where can people reach us?
You can Google the Larkin Group, or you can go to gostgeorge.com.
Larkin Group on Google or gostgeorge.com. Andy, thank you. Jeremy Larkin, Jesse Paul, Larkin Group, KW Realty.
Over and out.